Today we're going to finish up our project. Before we start tearing the edges of our photo here, we need to make these look more torn. We're going to choose a color for our background. So I'm going to my background layer and I'm going to click on my foreground layer and bring my mouse out to my image. And you'll notice that you'll get the eyedropper tool when you do that. And it's always a nice idea to choose your color from your image. That way you know it'll match and tie in. And so I think I'm going to click around in his jeans here a little bit until I get a nice color. Okay, that one looks good. So then I'm going to go to my paint bucket and I'm on my background layer and I'm just dumping the blue right there. Now, if you end up getting a shade of gray back here and not the color you chose, it's because your hue saturation layer is not clipped to your pencil sketch. So you can fix that by right-clicking and clicking on clipping mask. Now we're going to go to our picture top. We'll start with the picture top and we're going to tear the edges along our picture top. I'm going to go ahead and turn my pencil sketch off for this step so I can really see what I'm doing here as I tear along. We're going to use the eraser tool for this. And when you're on the eraser tool, go to the top and click on this little icon right here, which is the brush panel. And that'll pull the brush panel up. Now you can control what's happening with your eraser with the brush panel. And what you're looking for is brush number 1387. That is a torn edge brush. So you're looking for that and you're going to increase the spacing. About 50, I think, looks pretty good. So we're going to increase the spacing to 50. And we can keep all of these brush tip shapes off. Now, if you don't have 1387, you can find that in your Module 4 resources. It's called a plugin. And so it'll say Torn Edge Brush Plugin. And a plugin is a special type of file that will add something to a certain type of software. And so when you download that brush plugin and you double click on it, it'll do an automatic download of that brush into Photoshop. So once you've done that, you might need to get off the brush or the eraser tool and then get back on it to reset it, and then you should see that appear here. If you need help downloading that special plugin, let me know. Now, my brush is huge, so I'm just going to click the left arrow to decrease it somewhat. So 600 looks good. We'll try 500. 500 looks good. So let's work at 500 pixels. And it's going to also depend on the size that you made your image on your document here. Now, the other thing I want to show you is this angle. So as I turn this angle, you'll notice down here that my edge changes slightly. So as I do this, I'm going to come up over here and change the angle every once in a while so I don't get this repetitive looking pattern on my picture. So I want to keep this panel open. So starting at the edge, I'm just going to click along, okay, and then turn this a little bit to get a different edge. So maybe do 2 clicks and then turn. And don't click too far into your picture because you don't want to remove too much of the image. You just want to give it this kind of torn edge look. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this part because I got so close to this little guy's eye. It was probably not the best place to tear that, but I did, so that's what I have. So let me turn this so it's a little bit of a softer cut right there. So I'm being really careful so I don't lose too much of his eye right there. All right, that looks okay. Then Command minus a little bit. Okay, that looks really good for my picture top. I'm going to Command 0. And then I'm switching to the picture bottom and I need to do the same thing. So I'm using my hand tool here so I can get myself positioned just right. And this time I'm focusing on the picture bottom. Don't worry if this goes out and it's also going over your picture top, because you're only on the picture bottom layer. And so that's the only one that's going to be affected here. Okay, I'm by his eye again, so let me zoom in so I don't cut too much of that away. I'm working with the bottom, so I'm looking at the bottom of this to get it a little bit softer look there, maybe right there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that and hit Command 0. And I'm going to turn my pencil sketch back on, and that looks great. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And so the last thing I want to do before I turn this in is just check everything for turn in. Remember, you have that project points PDF that will help you know where all your points are coming from. We're going to go to image size, and we're checking to make sure we have an 11 by 8.5 document that's 300 pixels per inch. We should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. One of them is turned off. The top layer should be either picture bottom or picture top. Remember, these two can be interchangeable. So picture bottom, picture top. Then we have our hue saturation layer, which is clipped to the pencil sketch. If I turn that off, it just changes it back to color. And then I have my picture, the one that I'm not using that I have there just for safety, and that's turned off, and my background, which I chose a nice color from my image for that background. And I want to make sure that this is named with my last name, then my first name, and then the name of the project. So File, Save, and now I'm ready to turn this into my Connect.